organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, President Obama was on campus Friday. Find out what he wanted voters to know.
Plus, stars of NBC's Parks and Recreation are on campus. Stay with us to find out why.
And in sports, we'll tell you what's wrong with the black and gold on the gridiron.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Lauren Moss.
And I'm Brad Maxwell. President Obama spoke in Iowa City along with Vice President Biden. With Iowa being a swing state, the presidential candidates are campaigning hard for our 6 delegates. Daily Iowan TV's Ryan Jones and Tasha Woods tells us what the president said to sway voters to his future for the country.
President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden spoke here at Jessup Hall Lawn on Friday.
The president's speech was centered around building up the economy and helping out the middle class.
And Eastern Iowans at the rally were geared up for re-election.
Vice President Joe Biden kicked things off and praised Obama for his leadership.
America is not on the decline. America is on the rise.
And in terms of jobs, this is true. The U.S. Department of Labor said Friday that unemployment was down 8.1% from 8.3% in July. 95,000 jobs have been created last month, but analysts say there should have been more. 30,000 more.
But Obama says he has big plans to increase these numbers.
We will create more good jobs in America. We'll generate more homegrown energy in America. We'll hire more good teachers in America. And we will send more young people to college right here in America.
Obama focused on building up the middle class.
We're going to cut taxes for middle-class families, and that's what we've done. The average family has seen their tax burden go down $3,600 since I become president. I kept that promise.
And he says that America will continue to move forward if he gets reelected.
We have been there. We have tried that. We are not going back. We are moving forward.
This is Ryan Jones.
And Tasha Woods reporting for Daily Iowan TV.
And in other news, 2 popular faces made a stop in Iowa City earlier this afternoon. Adam Scott and Rashida Jones, stars of NBC sitcoms Parks and Recreation, visited the IMU to campaign for President Obama. Scott and Jones stressed Obama's message on health care, tax cuts, and women's rights. Despite their success on the big screen, they still are not overlooking the importance of education.
Education is for the Obama administration and a big priority for us. We think it's incredibly important as well, and want to kind of continue down that road for the next 4 years.
Scott and Jones also made stops at Iowa State, Northern Iowa, and Drake University over the weekend, urging students to vote on the upcoming election.
The truth is, every vote does count, and specifically in Iowa, that couldn't be more true. You know, it is a swing state. It may come down to Iowa, and, you know, these 6 electoral votes are incredibly important.
President Sally Mason and Governor Terry Branstad gathered Saturday morning to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the FIRST and STEM programs in Iowa. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, some of the key focus areas for Iowa schools. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds said in a statement that, quote, "What we're hoping is to have an educated workforce to meet the needs of the economy as we continue to grow and bring business to the state of Iowa."
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, a new sorority is coming to campus. Find out how it will impact the LGBT community.
And in sports, check out exclusive highlights from the Hawks home opener.
But first, let's check in with Stephen Duran for a look at this week's weather.
Thanks, guys. Tomorrow will start us out in the mid-50s with clear skies. The afternoon will warm us back up, but not too much, as the temperatures will be 75 degrees with clear skies. Those temperatures will drop again heading into the evening. You can expect a low of 54 degrees. Taking a look at the rest of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday are going to bring back that heat we've been accustomed to seeing, as temps will reach the high 80s and low 90s. Thursday, the temperature drops back down to a comfortable level, but with a chance of rain. Then Friday, we will start to see that fall weather begin to creep back with a high of 68 degrees. Then on Saturday, clear skies and a high of 86 degrees make for a great day of football in Kinnick Stadium. That's all I have for you for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Greek life is getting bigger on campus, and a new chapter seeks to include even more Iowa students. Daily Iowan TV's Christina Targos took a look at the newest chapter of Sisterhood.
The University of Iowa currently has close to 40 fraternities and sororities, but until very recently, the women of the LGBT community did not feel that they had a place to call their own in our Greek community.
This was until UI junior Matilda Finnegan Kennel decided to help start an interest group for Gamma Rho Lambda, a sorority for lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered women. She wanted to start the sorority to have a safe place for the women in the LGBT community.
We had an interest meeting last week, and there were about 13 women that attended, and even more that have been emailing and sending messages.
12 members at Arizona State University founded Gamma Rho Lambda in 2003. Since then, it has 6 fully established chapters and 4 interest groups all over the U.S. Delta Lambda Phi was the first gay, bisexual, and progressive fraternity to be introduced to the UI in the fall of 2011. They have helped a lot with finding interested new members for Gamma Rho Lambda.
There's been a lot of buzz and excitement. Gamma Rho Lambda is a sorority that will be open to both undergraduate students and graduate students.
It will be part of the Multicultural Greek Council, and if they decide to, they can participate in events like Greek Week and other major Greek events. The most important thing Leslie Schott stressed about Gamma Rho Lambda was its goal of sisterhood. Christina Targos, Daily Iowan TV.
It will take between 14 and 24 months for Gamma Rho Lambda to be officially established on the UI campus.
And charges were filed against Zachary Swanka for the fatal car accident that took place in October of last year. The crash left Clear Creek Amana freshman Mackenzie Lone dead near Tiffin. The 19-year-old is charged with homicide or serious injury by vehicle. The accident occurred when Swanka allegedly struck an oncoming vehicle at 100 miles per hour. No court date has been set.
Now it's time for a look at Hawkeye sports with Daily Iowan TV reporter Ian Martin.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. It was rivalry weekend in Iowa City over our 2-day break, and with the black and gold welcoming in-state rival Iowa State to the not-so-friendly confines of Kinnick Stadium. Daily Iowan TV Sports was there with all the coverage.
The in-state rivalry between the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones dates back all the way to 1894. Under the Ferentz era, the Hawks are just 6 and 8. Let's toss it to Nick Rector for highlights from the 2012 matchup.
Thanks, Annie. Well, Saturday's matchup between Iowa and Iowa State may not have been as high-scoring as last year's matchup, where both teams totaled 85 points, but just like last year, the Cyclones were 3 points better than the Hawkeyes. On ISU's first possession, quarterback Steele Jantz marched the Cyclones downfield and finished the drive by finding Aaron Horn in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. They would miss the extra point, though. Then, it was Iowa's turn on offense. The Hawkeyes marched 77 yards downfield on their first drive, but they were forced to settle for a 23-yard field goal by Mike Meyer. ISU got the ball back, but the Hawkeye defense squashed any hope of another Cyclone touchdown when they forced a fumble and recovered the ball on their 10-yard line. Iowa's offense just couldn't get going, though. They were forced to give the ball back to ISU, resulting in a 22-yard field goal for the Cyclones. Jantz and Vandenberg would both throw interceptions, and Iowa State would lead 9-3 going into halftime. In the third quarter, Iowa continued their offensive struggle, with drop ball after drop ball plaguing the Iowa offense.
Collectively, as a unit, we need to do better, and that starts with me, the O-line, the receivers.
As a receiver, I'm going to blame it on us. We got to catch everything. We got to make our plays and do our job.
The Hawkeyes did manage to salvage a few points from the drive, though, with Meyer adding yet another field goal to his season total. ISU would eventually get things rolling, though, and it looked like they would score again, possibly putting the game out of reach for the Hawkeyes. James Morris would put a stop to that, though, intercepting Jance's pass and returning it 50 yards downfield. But Iowa, once again, could not put the ball in the end zone. They would get one more chance to score, though. But once Vandenberg threw another interception, the game was all but over.
It was just a throw that shouldn't have ever been thrown. A really tight window. The guy made a great play on it, but it should have never went there.
After failing to convert on all 4 ISU turnovers, the Hawkeyes really have no one to blame except for themselves. Their offense will have another chance next week, though, facing off against another in-state rival, UNI. Now let's throw it back to Josh Bolander for more details on the game.
You know, it's what it is what it is.
It is what it is. It was the confusing 5-word phrase echoed throughout head coach Kirk Ferentz's post-game press conference. As for the game itself, the Black and Gold's play was just as confusing, leaving the Hawkeye faithful wondering what exactly it is. It has to be quarterback James Vandenberg. The senior quarterback seems to have lost his golden boy mystique.
We didn't throw the ball well enough to win. We didn't throw it well enough to win.
Let's face the facts. 20 for 42 simply doesn't cut it. But how does 28 for 42 for over 300 yards sound? That's what the senior signal caller's line could have read if it weren't for the 8 drops the Hawkeyes receivers and backs had. How can a quarterback stay in a rhythm if he can't find a groove? And drops by his supposed big play threats left the offense reeling in a game that should have been theirs for the taking. But a balanced attack isn't all pitch and catch. Northern Illinois hero Damon Bullock should have picked up the slack, right? Not exactly. The stable of Hawkeye backs isn't exactly clicking, with Bullock struggling to outmuscle a physical Iowa State linebacking core, and freshman hype machine Greg Garman receiving a rude awakening to Division I life. The loss surely can't be blamed on the big men up front either.
Our protection was better today. Just in general terms, that was an improvement.
Despite leading the nation in sacks allowed coming in, the O-line came together Saturday, keeping pressure out of Vandenberg's face and allowing the senior to explore his options downfield. Ironically, the one group called into question preseason seems to be the only unit clicking on all cylinders. Led by linebacker James Morris, the Hawks were able to create 4 turnovers, none of which were converted for points. So with a make-or-break weekend coming up next Saturday, it remains to be seen whether the Hawks will figure out what exactly it is that's wrong. Needless to say, Kirk, we're just as confused as you are. Wrapping up post-game coverage of Iowa's 9-6 loss to Iowa State, Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Well, it was a busy weekend for a number of other Hawkeye sports. The Iowa women's volleyball team was at the Iowa State Challenge in Ames. The Iowa Fieldhawks were on the West Coast, and women's soccer head coach Ron Rainey picked up his 150th and 151st victory. Both the UI cross-country teams and golf began their seasons as well. We'll have all of that and a lot more throughout the week in Daily Iowan Sports, and that's all for us. Back to you guys at the desk.
And now a look at for what's happening around the world. Greece's prime minister met with the party leaders to discuss a $14.5 billion spending cut the government would have to impose to get more aid from the nation's creditors. With the country's deep financial crisis, the cuts are required before they can receive the $39.7 billion loan installment from the European Union. The final spending cuts will be presented to a Eurogroup meeting this Friday.
And answers to Wednesday's killing of a British couple vacationing in the French Alps may rest with their surviving 2 daughters. The younger daughter, Zena, has returned to Britain, and her older sister has come out of an artificial coma. French and British authorities are continuing to piece together the puzzle that killed a total of 4 people.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Monday's edition of the Daily Iowan.
Read about the sexual assault involving a University of Iowa student that occurred Thursday.
And read details about the ongoing hearing of Peng Tang, who allegedly assaulted an Iowa City woman earlier this year.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check us out tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.